Hello, I'm Joel Langford. I'm a certified Bodytalk practitioner. I'm also a Parama Bodytalk practitioner. And I'd like to talk to you today about why certain chronic ailments tend to stick around. Or more importantly, why do they get better and then they are not so good? And then they get better and then they're not so good. And then they get, you know what I'm talking about. There is an involvement of a very important and ancient system called the epigenome, which we've really only discovered at the end of the Human Genome Project. Let's have a little bit of history. We started the Human Genome Project not more than, 15 years ago or so. And the idea was we now had the technology and we would find the genetic source of all human disease. I mean, it was really promising. We expected to find 120,000 genes at a minimum in order to explain all of the stuff that is going on with human beings. Imagine our surprise when we found that there are only about 20,000 genes in our genome, and it's almost identical to many other primates. Something was very puzzling because human beings were experiencing all sorts of things that could not possibly be explained by this very tiny genome. And actually, why are we so different from other primates? And indeed we are. We went back to the table and we found out that what happens is in the background, there is somebody playing the genome, somebody like playing the organ. And it's called the epigenome or the epigenetic system. The epigenetic system flips switches on. This gene is on, this gene is off, this gene is more, this gene is less. We're not going to go into more detail in that because it's dizzyingly complex. But it is the sort of thing that creates chronic disease. Let's talk about how that happens. First of all, your genome is absolutely solid. It doesn't change. It takes a lot to change your genome, like a lot of radiation as an example. It keeps us stable as a species. Your epigenome, on the other hand, is extremely flexible. It responds to your environment instantly. Our epigenome is flipping on and off genetic expression all day long. It does it in response to our environment and our life experience. I'm going to repeat that because it's really important. The epigenome manages your genetic expression based on our life experience and our exposure to the things around us. Those things that are really strong influences, biochemically or emotionally mainly, become things that our epigenome create a permanent response to. Permanent programming, if you would. They open up one gene, they shut off another gene, they do whatever it takes in all the different body systems so that you have a permanent response. It's important to understand that this system works fabulously almost all of the time. That's why we're still around. It's also important to understand that there are times when it doesn't work at all. And the response that we see is frequently chronic disease. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Bodytalk, getting back to the epigenome, has a specific set of advanced techniques for helping you to reset your epigenome to your current environment, not based on whatever you experienced in your life experience, but whatever is going on right now. So instead of relying on that old programming, you get to reassess what's going on, and your body decides whether or not it needs to change the genes that are being expressed. That's very important. The first thing that we do with Bodytalk is make sure that all the programming and all the organ systems are communicating. And with this advanced technique, we step behind that and ask, okay, so do we have any semi-permanent epigenetic changes that we've made that will make a chronic disease stick around? Now, I've had some very good success with a number of chronic diseases, including interstitial lung disease, COPD, asthma, osteoarthritis, lupus, chronic pain, chronic digestive disorders, insomnia, anxiety, depression, bipolar disease. All of these sorts of chronic diseases are not things that happen on the moment. They're your body's learned response to its environment and its programming to go ahead and keep doing these things. Unfortunately, in all of these cases, it's the wrong program. And what we need to do with the Bodytalk system is rebalance all the programming and the communication, and then make sure that the epigenetics system is spun up to the point where it asks the question, so are the changes that we've made and habitually make the right ones to make? Frequently, those things will get fixed, and you'll move on to much better health. If you find that you have a chronic disease, much like many of the ones that I have just outlined, you may wish to follow up your regular medical care with some Bodytalk. You can get in touch with me for a Bodytalk session at 406-529-2190. I hope to hear from you very soon and help you along your way to better health.